My battery died. My bad, Naomi. Um, my goodness. Listen, I was talking about my friend Naomi and her husband Rod, and the thing I like about them is, you two are my inspiration. I like the fact that you two are really still going. 5 years is a good time. I'm sorry about the broadcast ending. My battery died, but the part that I really want to explain and underscore is Naomi and Rod have found a way to make it work. That's what we stopped doing. It's like, okay, we find reasons to break up with somebody real quick. We find reasons to let things go real fast. We find reasons not to stay more than anything. But when I think about Naomi and Rod, I see people that may have had struggles. They kept those struggles to themselves. I and yeah, I know 5 years. I remember Naomi. When I think about Naomi and Rod, I think about how he proposed, and how he did it the right way, and he just didn't do things halfway. He wasn't afraid to express that he cared and he loved this woman. He wasn't afraid to take ownership of what was going on with the house, to take the masculine role. He wasn't afraid of any of that stuff. And when people in our communities get to that level where we take each other serious, we take our relationships seriously, we decide that I'm going to stick and stay right here. I'm in it for the long run. That's when our communities begin to rebuild themselves. When I look at their children, they're healthy children, happy children. That's what we are missing most in our communities. Strong men and women figuring out ways to make it work, setting good examples for our children, and raising strong young men and strong young women. So when we get back to that part of it, that's when we're our most dangerous and our most dynamic. Last thing that I'll say, and this is where I wanted to end on that. Oh, that's a blessing, Kendra. 52 years of marriage. That is definitely a blessing. They found a way to make it work. When we decide that we're enough for each other, when we decide that we're going to stop playing around with each other, when we decide that we're going to stop being scared or too good to give everything we got to somebody else, when we decide that sometimes sacrificing a little bit of self for the greater good might be the best thing for us, when we decide to do that, then there's going to be a change in what's going on with us. Too many of our brothers right now, we just want to play as much as we can and get as much as we can from women. Too many of our women right now, I'm good by myself. I'm doing it all by myself. I don't need a man. I might want one, but I don't need one. You fooling yourselves. Men, we're fooling ourselves when we think that we can play all the women out there. And women, you're fooling yourself if you say that you don't need a man. You do need a man. We need each other. Not just men needing women or women needing men. We need each other. So when we get back to the fact where we recognize that the we is the greatest strength that we have, when we get back to that, we'll be all right. So again, I'm not some bitter dude out here who's just mad at women and angry at the world and all this other stuff. That's not me at all. I've been very fortunate in my relationships. I have two beautiful children. I have a really strong, handsome stepson. I'm blessed. What I would love to see, I would love to see more of us getting together, getting along, and rebuilding our communities. So that's why I'm doing this. So if you know anybody else that could benefit from just positive conversation, I'm never going to put anybody down on this. I'll never put anybody down on my Facebook page or anything like that. These are just going to be positive conversations about issues that we face. If you know anybody else, that could benefit from just some positive conversations, spread the word, share the post, share the invites, because that's what it's about. I had one last thing I wanted to mention, and this is to the women. Ladies, I need you to understand that more so than us, your mouth can really make or break the relationship. Because women, you have the gift of insight and communication. And when you give us the right type of insight and you communicate with us the right type of way, you pour energy into us that causes us to want to run and break down walls for you. When we want to run and break down a wall for you, then we give you room to be able to relax and nurture. Not only nurture just from the just taking care of the house type nurture. I mean nurture yourself, nurture the community, nurture your spirit, which in turn feeds us. The man that's on the verge of cheating right now because his wife is so angry over every little thing, that's the wrong thing to pour into a man. Now, ladies, just hear me out for a second. When you speak to us, there's a way that you can speak to us that turns something in us on in a way that nothing can turn it off. That engine, when our engine is burning and moving to make sure that you're taken care of, we are incredibly powerful. We're so powerful, in fact, that when we get in that mode, when we start to conquer, when we start to accomplish things, and we have that strong woman beside us, it just builds us. It builds young men that see us. It builds everything around us. That's all because, women, you feed and breathe life into a man. Flip it around. Ladies, if you become a source of disruption, if you become a source of something less than peace for a man, then it tears us down. Now, we might be too proud to say you hurt our feelings, but it does hurt our feelings when we come home and we want to talk to you, and instead of you hearing a little bit about us, you make it about you. Or you rage at us or explode on us and things like that. And you just don't understand and respect the power of your mouth when it comes to empowering or tearing down a man. Now, ladies, we have a responsibility to build you up too. I'm not putting all the responsibility on you. What I'm saying, ladies, is that you have a very, very, very important role in getting men, spurring men to action and sustaining the action that a man undertakes. Now, fellas, the only way that a woman begins to pour those types of things into us is when we show her that we are dependable. When we show her that we are worth the investment. You cannot, just like the message earlier, you cannot have a woman that's emotionally bankrupt in the relationship and expect her to pour into you. It does not work that way. You have to make sure that that woman feels like, okay, this man is giving me life. I feel good because this man loves me. Fellas, when a woman is dialed in on us, there is nothing another man can do. I mean, the dude could be everything she ever wanted in a man before she met you. And if you are taking care of her and you're taking care of home, she won't pay him a lick of attention. She might look. She might be like, but she ain't going to do nothing if you're really taking care of home. And I mean taking care of home emotionally much more than physically. I mean taking care of home by doing your part and having the responsibility checked off where she knows that you got it. And that's the part where, fellas, we have to earn that woman pouring into us. Now, ladies, if you got a man that does it, just pour into him, encourage him, and watch the way he'll return and give you room to be comfortable, just to relax, not to have to do everything, because he's going to do it to make sure you're taken care of. The thing that comes along with the man inspiring a woman to trust him, inspiring a woman to want to submit and work with him cooperatively, is that strength of dependability, that strength of consistency, and that strength of compassion that men can give to women, that just lets the woman relax. So that's the challenge. Ladies, pour positivity into the men. Men, do what you're supposed to do and be responsible. If you're going to take the lead and make it work, make it happen. Now, that could be different in each relationship. Some relationships can be, 60-40 or 40-60, whatever. But as long as it works for that relationship, make it happen. Make it happen. I just really, really need for us to do our parts, because it's a lot coming. We got to be ready for it. And the only way to be ready for it is when we do it for ourselves, hand in hand, men and women, as a community. I see you, Kendra. You know I'm working on it already. That's all I got for tonight. I want to say that as a dad, I'm really proud to say I've never paid a dime in child support, not one dime. When I got divorced, I told my wife at the time, I'm never going to pay you child support, ever. And you'll never have to look for me, though, because I'm not going to be a weekend dad. I'm not going to be a court-ordered dad. These are my children. I'm taking care of my children. And there have been some days that this is part of the reason why I'm bald, but one thing that she can never say is that she ever had any problems out of me when it came to me taking care of my children. They're our children, but doggone it, they mine. Because what we're supposed to do, men, if we're going to make children, we're supposed to see it through. And if you have a child out there, do what you're supposed to do. Even if it's been years, I guarantee you, if you show up and you show up consistently and you do what you're supposed to do consistently, and you start from today and you build a relationship with that child, chances are that child will let you in, and it will erase all of the damage that potentially could have been done. But you just got to do it. Don't use the excuse of the woman don't want you to come around. No. What she really don't want is she don't want you to hurt the child's feelings. She don't want to explain why you're not there. So if you are serious about being a man, the first part about it is taking care of your children. Okay, so I kind of got into next week's topic, but that's kind of a preview of, I had a bunch of stuff about relationships with child's fathers and child's mothers and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to do it all at one night, but I had a lot of those. So that's something we're going to have to get into next week. Just really what it is between men and women who have children together that can't sacrifice whatever animosity they have for the benefit of the child having a healthy home. We got to get into that because that is serious. So, that is that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got. I really appreciate everybody watching. Again, share the page, Jeffrey L. Miller, speaker and motivator. Share that to people, and we'll keep building the audience. And I'll keep doing this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it.